Today lesson we discuss foundation construction. And for the last lesson video today, I want to present a case study for the basement construction for a 32-story building that I was involved as a general contractor for this project. And it happened, you see the picture taken in 2011 during the basement construction in 2009. And with that one here 9 and 10, so you see the building that took, you can see 2011, and that located in the one coastal city in the central of Vietnam, and this one almost 10 years ago. And now, and this is under construction at this point. And last year, or July 2019 to be specific, I visited this tower again. And as you can see, after 8, 10, 9 years, you see the difference of the landscape, the high-rise building in this area. Nothing 10 years ago, and you can see only this building is taller. But now with that other building even taller, other construction, as you can see, and now it become this building. The building after 10 years from starting, now it become shorter compared to all other building, new building that you have. Just go down here, you see the building that I'm talking about that I was involved, and that now become it smaller compared to all, and shorter compared to all other building, new building that built in the last 10 years. So with that one, what I'm talking about, the challenge, the technique, the option that used during the excavation for the basement of this building. So you see the excavation area for the building, and that you can see here what method we use to support ground retention. So we use the bore pile, and then only in this area, and this is the river on the left side. So you know the water can, more water pressure can get into the excavation areas. We also use the cement deep mixing, CDM, so that we can get the watertight and make a retaining wall during the excavation. We also use the steel sheet pile, something that we call different option for make a protection for the excavation. So this is the sheet pile for the lower areas, and you can see here in meter the negative 6.85 meter, and the ground floor, if the current existing floor ground level is plus 5 meter. So the difference is about for the excavation depth is about 12 meter, or about 36 feet excavation depth. Imagine that way. And with that, we use different, as you can see, option. And then we also use the bracings, so anchor to the surrounding area, as you can see here. So those are the method. So sometimes not only one method, we have to use multiple option to protect the excavation areas. And then we also use slope. So you see excavation slope in here for the to reduce the pressure from the soil to the CDM cement deep mixing retaining wall that we have. So we have to do the analysis of the ground retention and use finite element method. And we want to see the, as you can see, the deformation, because that one of the deflection when we excavate. So that this is the steel sheet pile that you have, and then we have a CDM deep mixing, and we have to do the sloping so that we reduce the lateral pressure from the soil on the CDM cement deep mixings go the pipe that you have it in here. So we have to do the analysis of that to see how it deforms, whether the deformation, the displacement is acceptable. And the second, we're talking about the water, right? Water will get in. We have to analyze the water flow into the excavation areas. What is the flow get in? So with that, we have to determine the what are the dewatering method we use to get the water out, make sure the excavation dry so that we can perform the construction activities. So with that one, and you can see this here rig for the cement deep mixing. So drill down and mix the mixing with the cement with the soils, and then become a cement deep mixing pipe in there. So with that, there is a challenge because the method that we analyze between contractor and of course consultant have a challenge concern about the how the way of the CDM work. You can consider that a rigid body. Remember ancient mechanics, but you talk about mechanics of material, it can be a deformable bodies. If we use finite, it can be considered deformable. But what if it reaches? It can be taught, right? So that we not only use one model with the deformable, we also assume that it reaches body to show the potential of tipping of this CDM. So CDM can be processed, and we have to have the model. So you see that on site we want to analyze not only with the computer, as I showed you in the previous one with the software, and then we have to use with the another method in here. And with that we can, that's something you do it in Geotech 1 or Geotech 2, and we determine the water pressure, the soil pressure, and determine whether it tip or not, and then what are the factors of safety for the checking the overturning of the CDM machine that you can see here. So factor of safety during construction, it determined about 1.3. Not good for the permanent, but for the short-term construction, it can be acceptable in this case based on the engineer judgment. So with that, we can proceed. And here you can see this is the steel pipe that I show you, and this is the strut, and it have a bracing go into the soil, and this is the boring pipe for permanent structure for the foundation. And what you see here is the CDM you have. So that is bore pipe, CDM missing, and you can see what you see on top here. That is CDM, and this is a bore pipe exposure. So we have to demolish this and expose to the rebar and put the pipe cap on these areas. And as you can see, this is a current ground floor, so the distance between this to here is about 30 feet, and still sit pipe. So as you can see, different method we use, and the tower crane setup in these areas. And from here you have the ground retention, and again this is the CDM bio, and we have to dewatering so that it can be get dried, so that the worker can work on it. You can see here get dried, and that we have the dewatering wells to get the water table out of this area. So that, as you can see, involve the excavation, the method to protect the excavation, and method of dewatering that used for this case study. And I hope you learn some information from this case study.